You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello, I just love technology, don't you? I'm standing here waiting and nothing's going on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to have you. You're watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. It's all about dating. We've got a great show for you today. I'm your host, executive producer, broadcast engineer, and director. And with me today is my co-host and friend, Ms. Lori Mendelsohn. Welcome, Lori.
And producer extraordinaire, my girlfriend.
Did I forget that one?
Yes, you did.
the sun's starting to come in on me, so.
That's titillating, effervescent, Dr. Jacalyn. She's right here right now.
Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. I have to say our guest today is fantastic. I've interviewed him already. And what I love is he's backstage and I can see him dancing to the music, which I always love that. But before we get to him, let's hear about what you're doing, because you're out there all the time changing lives, helping people find love, romance. You're all over Clubhouse. You're like Miss Celebrity over there. So tell us more, please.
Dr. Jacalyn, it sounds like I'm all over Clubhouse, like fitting like a bad suit. You know what I mean?
No, it's celebrity.
No, thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Yes, I am doing a lot of moderation in a lot of rooms and hopefully adding some value. And I just got a testimonial this week from someone who just sent me a text and he said, Lori, I listen to all your podcasts and I listen to your blogs and I'm on my way to meet the love of my life in Vermont. Thank you for all the information that you shared. So I thought that was a pretty extraordinary testimonial. So I'm happy that I could affect this person that way.
Well, that's what I said. You're changing lives everywhere. So congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn, as you are too. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to tell us about smartfunnysingle.com?
I would be happy to. It is my website. I am a matchmaker and I am dating and relationship coach. And my target audience really are people who are over 50 who have gone through divorce and have been married for quite a number of years. That this is really their first divorce and they're going through the trauma and the mourning and trying to get past it and getting their lives together so they can start dating again. So that is my ideal client, and I would love to help anyone who may fit into that category. That's what I do.
Lori, are you helping people all over? Does it matter where they're located, or do you have the ability to help people online?
I help people online. I do Zoom calls. I do in-person coaching. I can do it all over the world just as long as they speak English. And they send money into my PayPal account. And yeah, it works. They don't even have to speak English.
Would you like to give your PayPal account information?
If you follow me on Clubhouse at Matchmaker Lori, you can also see my Cash App account. So feel free to just drop some money in there whenever you feel like it. If I feel like that has changed your life.
Lucky you that you got the Cash App on Clubhouse. I haven't been awarded that
Wow.
yet.
Wow.
I know. By the way, something really cool is going on backstage, but I literally saw our guest in duplicate. He's there twice, and now he's there once. So
how did that happen?
I don't know. But here's the thing about our guests, that not only are we going to speak to him about dating, because it's all about dating, but oh no, he doesn't want me to say. Okay. I'm not saying. It's a surprise. It's a surprise, his background. So
Mom's the word.
Yes. So let's bring him out. Joining us from New York, it's Andrew Ian Bayroff. Hello.
Hey, what's going on? Dr.
Woo.
Jacalyn, Lori, hello, how are you?
Hello,
I,
hello.
I love being below two women. This is the most amazing thing. One is good, two is expensive. That's all I got to say.
Life-changing, isn't it?
It's I got to stretch a little bit, but I can deal. Thank you for having me on again, Dr. Jacalyn. Obviously, good to see you again. Lori Mendelsohn, this should be a fun show.
I know. I can't wait for it. And, and I have sirens in the back, even, heralding your entrance here. So.
Yeah. Oh, no. And me doing this was going, It wasn't going shush. This is your show. You can say anything you want because it's going to promote me and promote you. So let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wanted to share, you do a number of things well, and I had the pleasure of interviewing you on It's Your Stage.
Yes.
And you did a phenomenal performance of stand-up, which was really amazing. And you're also an author, and you've written a really cool book that's really in alignment with dating.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the time you gave me on It's Your Stage was fun. I got to do some older material, some new material, which is always breathtakingly. Sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work, especially with a live audience. It was fun, yes, and I am an author, and one of the books I'm actually in the middle of writing, editing my second novel, hopefully to come out next year. The first one, so I have 2 or 3. 4 more novels that I'm writing. But this book is my dating book called Check Please. Comical stories about dating, relationships, and the horrible things we say to each other. So this is, and my friend and my comedy friend, I also obviously do stand-up. My comedy friend, Sten Ulfson, he helped illustrated the entire book. And you can see I have some notes in here for your show. This book is really accumulation of, I think, 2005 to 2008, something like that. And I went on dozens and dozens of first dates, very few second or third dates. I kept, for some reason, because I'm an artist, I kept every receipt from every date. And it's all cataloged in years and sectioned off to months. I get anal retentive at 2 a.m. That's my project for the day or for the night. So these are 18 stories of just funny, horrible, embarrassing first dates to from the woman who I met up for the first date. She came right from Bikram yoga and didn't shower.
Oh my God, I love wait, I have to unspy you. I am a huge fan of hot yoga, and I did Bikram before. You can't say Bikram. And that is some nasty sweat.
And this is the illustration my friend came up for me, where she's like, "Oh, Andrew, your shirt is so absorbent." She's like hugging me, and I'm like, "Oh my God." And I looked at her, I was like, "Do you want to take a shower?" She's like, "No, I'm okay." All the way to 2 women that told me I'm just looking for someone to take care of me, to women who, if we meet on a certain day, they say, well, one woman actually said to me, well, if we can meet on Saturday at 8 in my neighborhood, that'll be really convenient for me. And then I said, oh, yeah, that's not a problem. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Is there a bar you can recommend? She's like, no, whatever you pick is fine. So this runs the gamut, and this isn't bashing the women. This is not a female bashing book, because I have women quotes in here. My friend, I have there's gay, there's straight, there's men, women, everything in this book. It's about just dating itself. My bad experiences from just dating in New York, and there's one from Los Angeles, and dating in LA is utter and complete nightmare. So these are just stories. 18 stories each. Each story has a title page, and then it goes into an illustration. This is a date where the girl told me she might have an STD, which is thumbs up. That's fantastic.
Wait. Let us not go so fast. Hold on.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'm still trying to get over the Bikram yoga one, because I know what that's like. That it's more sweat than you can even imagine. Okay. Now this person tells you right away that they have a venereal disease.
One woman I was talking to, I don't think even it was a first date. It was just a first encounter. And she's like, oh, yeah, I told the guy that I went out with before that he might need to get checked up. And I'm like, what's now? What do you mean checked up? Like a physical? He's like, well, it turns out that I was tested positive, not for, something serious like AIDS or something like that, but it was like, oh, I got tested positive. I think it was like gonorrhea or herpes or something like that. And I just started to move away a little bit and not share the food. I was like, what are I can hear you. You're talking out loud. Like, why didn't you talk? I mean, it may be not her fault. I'm not trying to, shame anyone on that in that aspect, but it's like very weird. And it's a great story for a dating book.
Andrew, I have so many questions, if I may ask you.
Please.
Where did you meet all of these?
See, that's usually the first question. I've met them, friends of friends, which I'm no longer friends with. Those
I was going to say those are
we're done. And it's funny because I'm a Jewish guy living in New York, Upper East Side, and some of my female Jewish friends think there's only two rows or catalog. There's only two requirements for me. It's like, oh, I have a girlfriend. She's single and she's Jewish. You should get married. That's not it. That's not the only two things. And then for them, oh, I have my friend Andrew. He has a job and he has hair. You're perfect. I just don't get that. To answer your question, I meet them friends of friends. I also meet them on like Match.com. I was on JDate for about 6 months, 3 months, but it was way too Jewy. The girls were immediately, what do you make? Where do your parents live? Do you have a car? That's a whole nother story. Do you want kids? When do you want kids? Do you think this is going to work out? I was like, we haven't even talked on the phone yet. This is really not working for me. You have to pump the brakes a little bit. All the way to once in a while, a female comic I'll ask out, but that's a rarity. And just maybe I met one woman actually I dated for a little bit on the subway. The subway was very, very crowded. It was the 6 train many, many years ago. And there was no pole for her to hang on to. And I just looked down. I was like, you can hold on to my coat. And she grabbed the lapels of my winter coat, of my jacket. And we started dating from there. So that was cute. That was romantic, I think.
That is.
So there could have been a whole other line that you could have come up with.
The pole is a whole nother conversation, Dr. Jacalyn. I like how you picked that up. Thank you. But I meet them everywhere. But it's a lot of the times it's a lot of the same red flags. Maybe I would be better dating in Queens or Brooklyn other than the Upper East or Upper West. So
do you have an Excel spreadsheet that you keep of all of the dates that you've been on with comments along with your receipts? And I'm asking because I have a friend who has been on 70 dates in the last year.
Yeah.
And I was one of them, and we've become friends since. But he calls each woman not by her name, but by her number. And so I was wondering if you were that.
No, there's two things that I would do. Like in the phone, if it said Stacy, like I would say Stacy Metropolitan Art Museum, or I would say Stacy Starbucks on Upper East. But in the book, I actually have cataloged every place that I went to on a date. So every bar, every restaurant that I took women to on a date with the amount of times is in the book because I kept all the receipts. And this isn't some, money, I'm bitter or whatever. It's art. It's for the book. I did it for the book, and it's a fun book. It's a fun read. It's a bathroom book. It's a coffee table book. But no, I don't give numbers. If anything, I would just say talked about exes too much, or smoke or smoker, just something that could differentiate. And I have female friends that do the same thing with guys. They'd be like John number 3, too tall, or Greg didn't shower, something like that. But I don't do numbers. Although maybe I don't date that much now anyway, so the numbers wouldn't get higher than 5 or 6.
That's an interesting detail.
the Bikram girl and the John who didn't shower enough may be a good match. Maybe we can introduce those two. They could be
it's funny though, because you go out enough, both of you know, you go out with enough people, depending on whoever you're dating, you're like, you know what, you would be much better equipped to go out with this person. Like, you haven't showered in 3 days, I have the girl for you. I got the girl for you. But during COVID, I mean, showering is optional.
Now, here's a question. Did she ask you in advance if you practiced yoga or?
I don't think so. I did vinyasa for a while, which helped out my back and, and everything, and just, relaxation. She just said, I'll meet you after a class, something like that. And, people, there's NYU, there's, adult education or whatever. I was like, you know what? I didn't really question it, because in my mind, I figured, if she did a heavy workout, like, of course someone's going to shower before they meet, unless it's like an after work type of thing. But even then I'm like, hey, let me go home, shower. I'll meet you at 7:30, 8 o'clock or whatever. But I didn't ask her because I didn't think I had to ask her. Hey, when you're in 100 to 110 degree Bikram class, you're going to shower, right? Is that, you don't even think you have to ask that question. But I guess you do, but man, she went in for that hug. I was like, oh, this is not good. Like, what did I do to deserve this? I'm like, I saved the puppy one time. This is not helping. So, but that was, and again, these stories, there's no names in the book. There's no names, there's no addresses, there's nothing like that. There's only one that I give some discerning character or some features, a tall redhead. That's it. Everyone else, because I don't want them looking through the book and saying, oh, that's me. You said my name, or you used my dog's name or whatever. It's like, no names, no nothing. Because if someone calls me out on it, I'm like, no, that just happenstance. That's just a coincidence. It's not you. But for me, a lot of it was just cathartic. Not only did I write the book, but I also have a 50-minute one-man play called Check Please. And then I also wrote a pilot for a TV show, a half-an-hour sitcom drama called Check Please. So it's the better version of How I Met Your Mother, if you want to call it something. So I've got those 2 or 3 projects that are also in the loop. But the one-man show is it gets into dating and a lot more. It's a lot more than just me dating. But it was just a fun project. It was very cathartic. And I started remembering a lot more dates. I was like, oh my God, this one's even worse than this other one. Let's replace it. The sad thing is, I actually have another 18 stories that I'm going to work on volume 2 for.
Wow. You know what? You have to keep dating, because you have to keep getting these stories out there. Otherwise, you might be in therapy.
I have enough dating experiences. Originally, it was supposed to be 20. But at the time, I only had time to do 18 really well-written stories. But I have another 18 or 20 that I can pull from. And I have a lot more receipts. Dates with people. And, we all have our issues. Was dating someone who kept on saying, oh, I don't think I'm a woman enough for you. I think I'm boring to you. I might not make enough money for you. I'm like, I didn't say any of that. Nor did I think I even hinted towards that. So that didn't really work out. I don't think that'll be a story. That's just a nice little aside. I don't want to keep dating. I'd rather just find someone, to be honest with you. I'm really good on paper, not so half good in person. But on paper, man, I am Rockefeller. Man, I'll own the city. But other than that, I have to really, it's like an interview. It's like, you're great on the phone. Let's see you in person if you're crazy or not.
Andrew, I have to ask you, do you see a repeating pattern with all of these women? And I think, I'm also Jewish, and there is, something about our culture that there is a mission that we all have.
Well,
guess what? I have to interrupt because we have to take a break.
No.
Yes. We should have taken a break 5 minutes ago. So hold on to that. We are going to see a video that is pretty cool. I only got it last night. I started playing it today. We're going to watch award-winning UK singer and songwriter Tony Moore. He's released his own take on a classic rock and roll song called Route 66. So let's take a look. It's being released. It's his new single. It's being released July the 2nd, and we have the clip right here. Stay with us.
Hey now.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back. You are still watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. It's all about dating. I'm your host with my co-host, Lori Mendelsohn, and our guest, Andrew Bayroff. Hello, hello.
Hello, we are back live.
We are back. And that was Tony Moore, Route 66, being released on July the 2nd. You heard it here first.
Great song.
All right. Yes, I'm digging it too. Ms. Mendelsohn, you had a question that you were asking Andrew.
Ms. Mendelsohn.
Miss.
Yes. Do you see, Andrew? Do you see a common?
Oh
issue?
yes,
What is it?
That leading question.
Please. Tell me.
I have two comments for you, Jewish lady. I have my girlfriends or my female friends, and they read the book or they talk to me about it. They're like, Andrew, what do you think that the common denominator here is on all your stories. I'm like, yeah, it's me. That's fantastic. I'm good on dates. I'm fine. I think I don't know what the trend is. Maybe it's the Upper East Side Jewish girls or Upper West Side Jewish girls that still call their parents mommy and daddy, or they were told, you find a guy to pay for everything. You don't do anything. You're a princess, this and that. Some women from Long Island, holy sweet nightmare. That just didn't go over well. I don't know what, I mean, yes, I'm in the common denominator. Yes, because I'm the one that's going out with all of them. But that's not to say that I haven't had good dates. I've had amazing first dates. It just didn't work out. Or we would go out 3 or 4 times and it just didn't work out. You know, that's just the way it works. Or we will go out for a year and something would happen. You know, we would break it off. So I don't know. I mean, I really, really try to do my best. I met one woman on Match. We had a good personality. We talked a little bit on Match. And she's like, hey, let's talk. And this is real. I'm not making this up to seem funny, although it's hilarious and sad. We get on the phone. Her name was Stephanie or something like that. I answer. I'm like, hi, this is Andrew. She's like, hey, Andrew, it's Stephanie. I'm like, oh, hey, hey, what's going on? Good to hear your voice. Immediately, she's like, you're in Manhattan, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm on the Upper East Side. She's like, oh, do you own a car? I'm like, no, I don't. No, I haven't had a car since 2005 because I'm living in Manhattan, like a lot of people. And I said, no, I don't own a car. Then she says this gem. She's like, well, how are you going to come out to see me in Long Island? I'm like, what is going on right now? I said, well, there's the LIRR and it goes right to Long Island. I've used it before. Pick me up at the train station or you can come into Manhattan. She's like, oh, come to Manhattan? It's disgusting. Why would I do that? So that's 30 seconds into the first conversation. But
guess what the good news is? You get to weed them out quickly. It's like next, right?
And I completely agree with you. Where I said, thank you for putting up all these red flags. But I was curious, Dr. J, if I may be so bold. I was very curious. I went along with it. She's, cute photo. She had a good job. She was, Jew from Long Island. We started talking. And then we get into, she's like, oh, well, some of your other relationships, they haven't gone well. I said, yeah, I had 2 women who told me they're just looking for someone to pay for everything. And they're looking for a sugar daddy. And I'm barely sweet and low. So it's like, come on, I don't have, I'm saccharine. I should have been taken off the shelves many, many years ago. I'm usually not good for you. And we started talking and we were going to meet up and then it just fell apart. I was going to come out. She made reservations at like one of the most expensive steakhouses in Long Island. She said she was going to buy a new dress, which is fine. I'm fine. It's not even the money. I love a good date. I love a good dinner, but we haven't even met yet. And then she's like, well, I understand those women saying they're looking for somebody to take care of them because the way you take care of her is the way you're going to take care of the children. I'm like, what children?
Oh, no.
Like we haven't had little Hunter and Chartreuse yet. Could we back off of having the children? And then I was ready to go. Like on that next Monday, I literally showered, buttoned down, shaved. I was ready to go to the train station at 6:30 because, like I said, I was curious, and there's a story in here that I can usually either use for the stage or a second novel or a second version of the Check Please. 5 minutes before I was actually gonna leave, she messages me. She's like, "Hey, Andrew, I'm really booked up at work. I can't make it tonight. No, sorry, no alternative date, no nothing." So I said, "Well, I'm already at the train station," which I wasn't. I wanted to make her feel bad a little bit. And then 20 minutes later, she said, "Oh, I'm actually good. You can come now."
Oh, please.
Come on.
I'm like, and I lied. I'll admit it. I said, "I'm home now. I don't know if I can get to the train station in time to catch one that'll actually get me into Long Island in time for dinner." And she's like, "Okay, well, I'm leaving for Florida." Shocking. I'm leaving for Florida for a week. We'll get together when I get back. And I just texted, "Sure thing," and deleted the text and put her in an archive.
Blocked her, put her picture up at the post office. That was me.
I do what my brother and what a lot of other guy friends of mine and female friends of mine, in the little note section, it says, don't answer. Or it says, crazy. Or a couple of my female friends would just put in there, asshole, like no good. Don't, try to get me in the bathroom on the first date, Lori.
Yes.
So it's, but I'm sitting there. It's like, okay, Jew from Long Island. Great. And my friends ask me, oh, do you have to date someone who's Jewish? I'm like, I don't have to do anything. Sometimes it might be great, matriculation, the connection of the family, the Yiddish, the holidays or whatever. But if they're not Jewish and we've hit it off, okay, fine with me. But I don't know. I don't go for a certain type, thin, curvy, a person of color, Jewish. It's if we hit it off, then that's great. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have to tell you guys, I know you're both have a lot of experience in dating personally or advising others. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to be dating, isn't it?
It's exhausting because, well, the problem is if you date too much. There is something to be said about dating too much. Because I had 3 dates on one Saturday many years ago. Or I would go on a date on a Monday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday. The problem is by the time you get to the date on the Thursday or Friday, you either forgot about the Monday date or you're not giving that date enough attention. You're like, oh, well, you're just my Monday date. I have 3 more dates after this. Like, this isn't a game show. Then I stopped doing it only once a week, once every 2 weeks, like very narrowed my focus. Like I want to concentrate on this Monday date and see if it goes anywhere. I had a female friend of mine that went out with a guy. Quick story. She said, oh, let's meet for dinner. And this guy, people say I'm bad. This guy said, listen, I do about 5 or 6 of these dates a week. I can't buy dinner for all of you. Let's just meet for a drink. I was taken aback. I wanted to meet this man. I wanted to take his master class on dealing with women because that was ballsy, my friend.
Andrew, no. Here's the. I like that he did that. Actually, yeah. I'll tell you why. Because if you can't stand this person, why would you want to spend 2.5 to 3 hours with them across the dinner table? Go out for coffee.
I agree with you, but I actually asked out a woman many, many years ago. She's like, oh, I'm available from, noon to 4. That's it. And that's how I heard her in my head, this voice. Yeah. And I said, oh, it was like a Saturday. I'm like, all right, well, there's a great cappuccino place. There's a great cafe right near you. I looked it up. Let's meet. She's like, well, no, I get coffee with my girlfriends. I get drinks on dates. I was like, red flag. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, take care. I'll call you next week. Archived. Uh-huh. I find it now. If you're 30, you don't see the red flags quick enough because you don't have enough experience.
Right.
I'm in my late 40s. I have seen all the red flags. If you can surprise me with a red flag, I will give you $5. That's how confident I am. I know all the red flags.
If you raise it to $100, I will take you up on that.
Ooh,
because I'm older than you.
I'm on the $250.
Little sassy chicks over here. That's done. Let's do this. Both. I'm on the bottom, so this is amazing.
Okay.
We're bringing. Yes.
Don't you feel with all of this dating that you've done that you've kind of honed your radar, that you know what to date, who to date, and who not to date? It's so much easier.
There's women that I'm like, ooh, I would love to ask her out. It's like, do you really, or you just love the tattoos? Are you attracted to her or the tattoo? Because I've gone out with a couple of women who are like really inked up, not on the neck or anything, which is whatever, but she was really inked up. She was a rocker. I was like, you're polar opposite than me because I have no tattoos, no piercings, no nothing. I'm this anal retentive comic designer, whatever, writer. But she's like, oh, rock and roll, like, let's do it. But it didn't work out. Not because of the tattoos. I was like, but I initially got interested in her because of the tattoos. Other times I get interested in women because I meet them in a museum and they're nicely dressed, better than I deserve, just everything put together. I was like, oh, you're good too. But there's sometimes like, are you really attracted to her or just her dress or her ink? or the fact that she has, purple hair. So you do have to put on the blinders a little bit. But to be honest with you, I don't want to pass up an interesting interaction or an interesting opportunity. Maybe we date for 5 or 6 months and we learn something from each other, or maybe not. Mm-hmm. But I do a joke about this, that I learned during COVID, I'm not necessarily interested in an overtly fit girl, like the CrossFit and working out 6 times a day. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to be anyone's activity partner. I don't want to do wind sprints at 5 a.m. just because they're fun. That I'm fine. You can go to your gym and I work out 3-4 times a week. I did sports, cardio, blah, blah, blah. I'm in shape, but I'm not doing 1,000 pull-ups just because it's exciting. Yeah. Look at those guns. So, oh my God. So I think for me, it's sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Go figure. You have to have a good sense of humor. Don't have so many hang-ups. The red flags, like calling a guy in the first 30 seconds, where do you live? Do you have a car? How are you going to come and see me? I've had women, and Dr. J, we discussed this the last time I was on, women will ask leading questions. Like I would say, oh, Lori, what do you do for a living? Oh, you're on the Upper West. That's great. You want a drink? Hey, where do you live, Andrew? On the Upper East. Oh, do you live in the Bespoke building? Oh, do you live in the building above Bank of America? So where do you live? There's 20,000 other buildings on the Upper East Side. Do you have a doorman? Do you have a car? Do you have an elevator? I'm like, sweetheart, just ask me my salary. Can we go right there?
Right in there.
Let's just go to the 20th date and ask me my salary, which I don't talk about. I don't talk about my salary, which I don't think anyone should really talk about unless you have children or something.
Do you want to tell us about your salary?
Yeah, I'd like to know, Andrew. Just while I'm thinking of women for you, in Milwaukee, maybe I'm thinking, I should be fixing up with women in Milwaukee.
I rent a 1-bedroom on the Upper East. That should tell you enough. I'm making okay. I'm okay. I pay my bills. Mm-hmm. I pay my bills.
I was only kidding you, by the way.
I know.
We're just kidding. But by the way, our time is going by so fast. I want to make sure a couple things. I'd love for you to read from your book, if you would.
Well, I'll tell you, I could read, but I will tell you a couple of the stories.
Okay.
Because the writing is not dated, but it's older, so I can tell you a couple of the stories from the book. There was one woman who I went out with her. She was great, beautiful. We got along, great sense of humor. She was an artist as well. I think 3-4 months into us dating, or I thought it was dating. You'll see why. We would stay over each other's apartment. We would get dinner, breakfast, the whole thing. I think I texted her on a Thursday. I said, hey, how's your week going? Do you want to catch a movie tomorrow? This is like 8-9 years ago. Didn't hear from her. Weird. Waited a couple of hours, texted her again. Nothing. I called her. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I haven't heard from you all day. She said to me what I thought is the best guy thing. And she said, hey, sorry, I'm glad that you're the adult and you called me. I said, yeah, what's going on? Why didn't you get back to me? She said, well, to be honest, you asked me out for Friday. And that's really date night. And I think it's going a little fast. I was my gosh. Am I secretly dating a guy? Like, no, she put the toilet down and I see makeup. Well, not that matters anymore. I was like, we've gone out every day of the week. Either she was dating someone else or she wanted to break it off. But here's the kicker. She's like, well, she ended it without even talking to me about it. She said, well, I don't think it would have worked out anyway because you're Jewish, I'm not. You want kids, I don't. And then there's the intelligence difference.
Ooh. Oh.
And I'm like, back up that insult train, sweetheart. What? But I realized, wait a second, why do I assume that I'm the one with the low IQ and she's not putting herself down? So I got hoisted a little bit by that. And I was like, what do you mean, the intelligence thing? I honestly think she thought she was way smarter than me. It would never have worked out. She never quantified it. She said, okay, take care. But I found it so weird that she used or utilized that Friday excuse to say, oh, it's not going to work out. I'm like, that's what a guy does. A guy does that. Like, hey, Dr. J, listen, you're asking me out on a Sunday, and that's the Lord's Day. God rests. I don't like that. But yeah, that was a weird story. My friend Sten came up with a very good illustration for it. If I can find it real quick, it's me in Jeopardy.
That's good.
With my name spelt wrong, and I'll
spell your own name for.
And I spelt my name wrong, and I'm just the idiot. Hey, I don't mind playing the idiot. I'm a comic. I don't mind looking like a fool on stage or at a party or something like that. But wow, that was interesting. The other one was the Bikram, and there's two of the same story. Like I mentioned before, I was dating this one girl, very nice. This is maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago. We would go on many, many dates, stay at her place, my place, get breakfast, brunch, blah, blah, blah. We're on the phone, and she's like, well, Andrew, I think I need to tell you something. And guys, just hang up the phone. Nothing good comes after I need to tell you something. No woman or guy ever says, listen, Lori, I got to tell you something. I got some extra cash. Do you need some? That doesn't happen. I got a pot of gold. That's not going to happen. So she said to me, she's like, I'm looking for someone to take care of me. And I said, take care. She's like, I'm a 37-year-old adult female. And I've been taking care of myself my entire adult life, and I'm looking for someone else to do it. I was like, what are you talking about? And I said, you're talking out loud. I can hear all the words you're saying. So that happened to me twice, two different women.
Oh,
wow.
So, it's and I'm not trying to paint everyone bad. I'm not trying to paint all of my dates were bad. I've had amazing first dates and amazing, short-term relationships, but these dates got into this book. So, yeah.
Tell us where we can get the book.
You can go to mypublishedbooks.com, and I'm cheating because that has my other 3 books on that one site. My novel, my taxi book, which is paying homage to my grandfather, who was a taxi driver for 40 years in New York, and Check Please. Or you can go to checkpleasebook.com. And yes, so those are the 2 places, mypublishedbooks.com and checkpleasebook.com. You can pick that up. For me, for my comedy, you can go to andrewstandingup.com, or as it says down there, at andrewstandingup at IG. And every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, I do a live show, me, myself, and a mic, 7 o'clock Eastern time, Wednesday on IG Live, Instagram Live. So that's fun. I'm done talking.
And that's... All right,
I'm done speaking.
I'm done speaking. Thank you, Andrew, so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure seeing you again, hearing you. I love your voice.
Thank you. This is fantastic.
It's amazing, Lori. Thank you for being here. Also, I've got another show coming up, so I'm just going to close it out now. Thank you, folks. And if you missed the beginning of the show, go over to Dr. Jacalyn LLC on YouTube and click on subscribe. Okay. We're coming back with A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors right around the corner. See you later. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Lori.
Totes. Goodbye.